Hey guys, okay, haven't made a video in a bit. Life has been crazy without necessarily being busy, which is like a really weird feeling. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's like you don't have a lot to do, but there's a lot that's going to happen. So you feel like this pre-overwhelming feeling to the overwhelming feeling you're going to get in the future. Let me explain a little bit. So a lot of things have been happening. It's been like a series of unfortunate events, um, and some really good things too. So two weeks ago or so, I had a really bad cough, and I had dealt with it for like a month straight, and I got kicked out of work a few times. Not kicked out, but they were like, I know you're not feeling well. You can go home. It's okay, even though you're supposed to work today. And on probably the second day of that happening, I was like, yeah, I'm going to take this time to go to the doctor. And I went to the doctor, and this was probably the day after I had just met up with my psychiatrist. So, quick mental health update on a side note. I for anybody who's new and doesn't know, one, I make videos. I vlog. It's kind of like my version of journaling. And two, I have been dealing with things like anxiety and depression since I was 18 years old, but I've made a lot of progress, and they're things that I talk about very openly because I feel like mental health related issues are very stigmatized and still swept under the rug and attached to a sense of embarrassment or shame that shouldn't exist. That is perpetuated by society and ignorance and such things like that. So it is a requirement when you are on medication being prescribed to you, mental health medication, to get checkups every once in a blue moon to make sure that things are going okay. And personally, even if it wasn't, I would still want to go because my psychiatrist is thebomb.com. He is probably one of the coolest dudes that I've ever had the privilege of meeting. So I got really lucky on that regards. And it's nice to have someone just to come and see once every 3 to 4 months, just to download and kind of update and get some input from an outside source who isn't biased or, whose advice isn't, swayed by the fact that they might get something in return. It's nice to have that kind of older, developed outside outlook from somebody. So, anyways, I'm telling you this because the day before I went to the doctor's to take care of my cold, I had gone to a psychiatrist checkup. It had been 4 months. It was time for my checkup. I went in, talked, blah, 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 mentioned that I have been kind of running low on energy to the point where, um, I can't deal with it anymore. I've always had extreme insomnia where I either, when I do go to bed early, I still sleep 12 plus hours. So I can go to bed at 11 p.m. and I'll still sleep till 2, 3 p.m. And I don't know why. I should be able to wake up at 10, 11 a.m. and get shit done, but I can't. Or I'll find myself, and this is the most common one, I'll find myself going to bed at 5, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning and waking up at 5 p.m. And it's not for lack of trying, it's just I physically can't fall asleep. So, I was talking about that, and I had mentioned that, that this is leading to a very big lack of motivation in regards to weight loss and all this different stuff. So he prescribed me Wellbutrin. So went to the psychiatrist, got prescribed Wellbutrin. It's for motivational and, kind of just getting out there. It tries to get you going, da da da. And then the next day, like I said, I went to the doctor's and I got put on the Z-Pack because I was diagnosed with acute bronchitis and an upper respiratory infection. Fun. So lots of fun things happening. So it was either from the Z-Pack, Zithromax, or it was from the Wellbutrin, but I ended up having a really severe allergic reaction where from my forehead down to my collarbones, I was covered with hives, and it went in stages. It was like intense burning, and then it was followed by intense itchiness, and then intense dryness. It was just the worst pain, facial-wise, I had been in a long while, especially because I don't deal with blemishes too much. Like, I have no makeup on right now. I mean, this is probably like these are the biggest blemishes I deal with, and that's still, like, usually my skin is pretty clear. So that was kind of a bummer because the Wellbutrin had really been working at this point. This when I got the allergic reaction, it had been about a week later. Um, so that kind of sucked because for the first time in what was since middle school, I was going to bed at 11 p.m. and I was waking up at 8 a.m. and I was exercising and eating right and doing all these wonderful things that I hadn't had the motivation or the urge or the ability to do in a long time. So my doctors basically told me that I either had an allergic reaction to the Zithromax, the Z-Pak, or to the Wellbutrin, or to the two working together or combining together in a way that irritated my body. So I had to stop taking both. So here I am, about $300 more in debt than I was before because I spent about $100 in work covers. I spent about $100 in medications, and then I spent about $100 getting this thing taken care of, this allergic reaction, because it was not going away. So that was a very unfortunate thing, and now I'm back to not sleeping well, having insomnia, and I also still have a bit of a cough left over because I couldn't finish the Z-Pak either. So those are the not so great things that have been happening recently. But yeah, so when I say that I've been stressed about things that necessarily don't take up time, that's what I mean. It's more so I'm just stressed that I had to deal with all that, and it still feels like I'm dealing with the leftover components of it. I'm also moving out with a good friend of mine, which is very surreal for me. I'm moving out, one, because I want to, two, because I feel like it's time to make some kind of step towards adulthood, doing things on my own, being responsible, and having to pay, for something of my own for once, and just making the first step to, growing up. But also my parents are moving, essentially to the other side of the United States. Eventually, and sometime in the next year, they're moving to Minnesota, where the rest of my family lives. And I was offered to go with them, of course. But my life is down here. My friends are down here. My school's down here. What I love is down here. So I chose to stay. And it's going to be I almost want to cry when I talk about it because I'm super close to my parents. I love my parents. I'm really close, especially to my mom. And it's going to be really weird not having them around. So I'm really excited about moving out, but I'm also really sad. And, saving up for rent and all that stuff. I'm probably going to move out in the next 2 months or so. So, like I said, super stressed right now, super busy with stuff that necessarily isn't here. Midterms are next week. So there's that. Like I said, it's really just feels like I'm overwhelmed about stuff that's going to happen. But yeah, that's as far as updates go. So moving, medication, mental health, lots of M's in my life at the moment. But yeah, I just wanted to make this because I'm sure that the next update you will see, I will be in my own place or I will be moving. Guys, I'm literally gonna be the biggest baby when I move. I know that a lot of people might not get this, but this room that I'm in, this place that I'm in, this house, I've lived here for 22 years. I've lived here my entire life. I know, I mean, I have videos on my channel talking about this, but when I grew up, I was bullied and all that not so fun stuff. But the one thing I've always had that was concrete and stable and loving was this home and the people in it. I have the best family. I have the best luck when it comes to friends and family. And I've lived and I've had the privilege of living in the same place for 22 years. And the idea that I'm not only moving out of it and that my parents are moving essentially across the United States from me, but the idea that somebody else is going to be sitting in this room having memories that maybe I never experienced or that I experienced very similarly to just blows my mind. I know it's just a place, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more than four walls to me. And it's scary. It's scary, but it's also super exciting. So interesting things to come It's so surreal for me to look back. This is why I have this channel. A lot of my friends are like, dude, why do you still have that first video of you on here? Because it is so embarrassing. It's me basically being a super duper try hard, trying to make a YouTube channel into something that it was never meant to be, something meant for other people and not necessarily myself. And it grew into something for me. It didn't start out that way, but it ended up that way. It ended up being a place where I came and I talked about things that were important to me or that I was going through or that I could find relation to other people or hopefully help other people. It became a journal of mine, a way to document the things that were going on in my life. And I keep videos like that around. I keep those 4-year-old videos of me being a total dork in high school around because they were me at some point. And here I am 2 months away from moving out and saying goodbye to this house that I've lived in for 22 years and to my parents who are moving across the country. And I get to at least look back at those videos in this room and remember, you know? Sorry, I'm being such a baby. So yeah, those are my updates. I hope you're doing great. I hope good things are coming your way. If you're struggling, know that things get better. Change is just inevitable and it will always sway towards good. I promise you that. Trust me, I promise you. And yeah, next time you see me, I might be moving out of this place. All right, guys. Have a nice night. Love you.